Since the beginning, Honkai Star Rail has been shrouded in many mysteries, and one of them is none other than Stelle and Caelus, the main character of this game. In this video, we will talk about what we know so far about them and also some theories of our beloved money-minded MC. So sit tight, Trailblazers, because we will warp to our next stop in discovering who we really are. In the MC selection screen, besides the interface that Kafka pops open, Kafka and Silverwolf dialogue tell us that actually there are two MCs, or what the game refers to as receptacles.
Come on, I'll pick for you. This one. Yeah, this one.
Silverwolf, did you forget that I must be the one to make this decision?
From their conversation, we learn that we are actually seeing things from Kafka's perspective, and she is contemplating which receptacles, Stelle or Caelus, that will be the host for the Stellaron. So, I think it's pretty clear from this that there are indeed two receptacles or main characters that the Stellaron Hunter prepared. Now, the question is, who are actually these two? Like, who are they? And where do they even come from? Why are they able to become the host for the Stellaron? In Kafka Companion Quest, we gather a lot of information about their past. In this quest, we play a game of truth or lie with her, where we ask questions and the answer she gives consists of one truth and one lie. Knowing which one is the truth and the lie is actually quite easy. You only need to observe her eye movement. So, if she averts her gaze while answering you, it means that she is lying. But if she looks right to your eyes, that means she is telling the truth. So, if we ask her, "Who am I?" then she will tell us that MCs are actually artificial bodies that intentionally created to contain the Stellaron. And if we ask more, how am I able to host a Stellaron? Kafka will reaffirm that MCs' bodies were created for that purpose and modified by the power of Aeon. However, because MCs are artificial beings, who created them? First thing first, we can assume that Elio is actively involved in their creation, considering how MC has a vision, like when they see what will happen in Jarilo 6 when they were struck by that scary big doomsday beast, and Elio's ability to see the destiny. I don't think that's a mere coincidence. Even maybe what MC saw is one of the possibilities that Elio wants to reach in his script. However, I believe there is another party involved in this creation. I mean, I don't think just anyone is capable of creating artificial bodies that can function like that, right? And I have a theory to answer that question. I think the creator is Herta. If we look at Herta's splash art, she is actually playing with a pair of hand puppets which represent the two MCs, Stelle and Caelus. The question is, how did she know that there are actually two MCs if she only met one of them for the first time after the incident at the space station? And if we take a closer look at her splash art, one of her puppets is hugging a black cat doll with a blue ribbon. A black cat with a blue ribbon? Seems familiar, right? Yep. That's right, something that's associated with Elio. If you are not familiar yet, in Honkai Star Rail community, there is a lot of speculation that the cat is actually Elio. Why? Because the same black cat also shows up in Kafka's splash art and also Stellaron Hunter PV. We also know that Herta does things according to her own desires and curiosity. One thing she is particularly interested in is Aeon, and Stellaron is the product of one of the Aeons. Perhaps she helps Elio out of her curiosity. But we need to take notes here that Herta may not necessarily agree or share the same views as Elio and the Stellaron Hunter. She helps Xianzhou Luofu, but that doesn't mean that she has the same view with them. Also, Elio knows how to kill an Aeon, just like what Kafka says when we interrogate her in Xianzhou. And don't forget that Herta is the emanator of Nous, the Aeon of erudition. I think it's not surprising if they are combined together, they can find a way on how to use the power of Aeon to modify MC's bodies. I also think that there is a possibility that Herta herself may not have directly created MC, but she is still involved in it. Anyway, I think what's clear is there is something between Herta and Elio and maybe more complex than we think. Back to Kafka Companion Quest, we can also know that after MC were created, they were handed over to Kafka. But we don't know the time frame between their creation and also the handover. She was entrusted to teach MC general knowledge, combat skill, and also common sense. However, why was Kafka the one who was entrusted with taking care of MC? The reason is not only because they are not fit to be our mommy, but also because Elio sees a connected future between MC and Kafka. When Elio entrusted MC to Kafka, he said that Kafka and MCs are each other's destiny. Kafka will change MCs, and MCs will also change Kafka. At the end of Kafka Companion Quest, Blade states that like himself, Kafka has an agreement with Elio, where he will fulfill Kafka's wish and Kafka must obey his orders in return. We also know that the wish Kafka seeks is fear. Kafka was born on a planet that lacks fear, and Elio is able to help her experience it. I think that the fear promised by Elio is the fear of losing someone. Maybe in the future, MC find themselves in a life-threatening situation that triggers fear within Kafka. And why do I think like that? Since the prologue, we were shown on how Kafka actually cares for MCs. Kafka appears worried when MCs are unconscious and visibly relieved when MC wake up. That's not the face of someone who only cares about mission or herself. She even asks for more time to talk with MCs and ensuring that someone will find and help them before leaving. At the end of her companion quest, Blade himself also states that Kafka will do anything to keep MCs alive. From that, I think it is clear that Kafka genuinely cares about MC, even though it is true that MC has an important role in Elio's script and also to fulfill her wish. If that's the case, why don't MCs have the same sentiment towards Kafka as Kafka does towards them? The answer is because Kafka erased MC's memories by using her spirit whisper. She even bluntly says that in her companion quest. So I think we can say that basically, in the past, MCs were a part of the Stellaron Hunter. Even Blade mentioned that he remembers MC and has seen them before, following Kafka to anywhere she went. However, Kafka erased all of their memories as a co-Stellaron Hunter because she took them to the space station. Even before leaving us at the station, she used her spirit whisper again to ensure that we really don't have any memory of our past. This is marked by the word listen highlighted in Kafka's dialogue. Now the question is, why? Why did Kafka have to use her spirit whisper again if MC's memories were already erased before? Could it be because it wasn't finished yet? Maybe, because Kafka at the beginning expected MC to still remember her. But we can find the possible answer in MC's Eidolon. MC's second Eidolon is titled An Unwilling Host. I think that MC actually didn't want to host Stellaron since the beginning. I also think that MC has a strong sense of rejection, and that rejection may have been triggered by something in their past, leading Kafka to use her spirit whisper multiple times and ensure that her spirit whisper doesn't break and MC keep forgetting their past. Because if you remember, in her companion quest, Blade's Mara and emotions become uncontrollable, causing Kafka's spirit whisper to break. Kafka need to use her spirit whisper repeatedly to control his Mara, even erase Blade's memory of Jingyuan and Danheng to suppress it. I always think that it's weird, like how calm MCs are when they find out that there is a terror inside them. Perhaps Kafka's spirit whisper is the reason, because it really stuck in MC's heads. Like how in the voice dialogue about self, what MC says are what Kafka told them for the last time before she left. And if indeed in Elio's script MC have to forget their past, that's even more reason why Kafka tries to erase MC's memories and use the spirit whisper repeatedly. Moreover, she is not just ensuring that MCs forget their memories, but before leaving, Kafka also emphasized that MC must join the Astral Express. Just like in MC's third Eidolon, a leading whisper, Kafka leads MC to the path that's written in Elio's script. And what Kafka did was working. In MC's voice dialogue about the Astral Express, they also mentioned that they couldn't imagine a future where they didn't join the Astral Express. And to me, it doesn't sound like a sentimental statement, because from the way they speak, it seemed like they couldn't see any other path for themselves than joining the Astral Express. So, I think we can conclude that in Elio's script, there are two variables that need to be fulfilled as initial steps for the next parts of his grand script. First, a host to carry the Stellaron, and second, the host must join the Astral Express. MCs were created to fulfill both of these variables. After being created, Kafka is the person responsible for guiding MCs so that they can survive the journey towards the ending in Elio's script. However, there are still so many mysteries and questions regarding MC, and I think one of the biggest questions is which Aeon power that modified MC. All of those questions will be answered in future videos, and in the meantime, I will keep rummaging the trash can for those scattered lore. So don't forget to press the subscribe button before Ouroboros chop it. If you enjoyed the video, please give a thumbs up and comment on what do you think about MC's past. See you in the next stop.